Not again.
Perfect.
I don't even have a comment about how bad a shot that was.
I've been losing to these guys all afternoon, but we're not here to talk about pool and how much money I owe them. I'm here with the legendary Burton Cummings and the legendary Randy Bachman, and we're actually here to talk about how these two gentlemen might be single-handedly reintroducing the sock hop to the world.
Oh, yeah.
Sir, absolutely.
I think a lot of people are interested in how and why this project came together.
Somebody had the idea to record some old songs that were special to us, that made us want to be in a rock and roll band as young teenagers in Winnipeg. And we each made a list and started to send it back and forth. Some of the songs were the same, and the list got smaller and smaller. Mine were more guitar-oriented, his were piano. And found ourselves in the studio and did it.
Was it hard to pick and decide the actual songs and what you were going to record, what was going to go on the album? Because the album art would dictate that maybe it wasn't such an easy process, as they are arm wrestling on the album cover.
Well, we have a core of similar taste, and then we have each have our own taste, which I think is really good. You can hear it on the CD. It bounces around from a very strange song to another very strange song, and then a song that you say, oh yeah, I understand that being there, and then it goes to some cool, weird things rather than being all normal. And I think it just is our both personalities and the different instruments and how we learn to play rock and roll on it. So there's a core of similarity, and then there's the differences.
There is the American Woman 2007 song. I mean, you get to a certain level. Move over, Lenny Kravitz, by the way.
Come on, let's go.
You get to a certain level, you know you're big when you can cover yourselves. Take us back to the 70s when this song goes #1. By the way, the first time any Canadian band ever had a #1 single in the United States. What was that time like? What was that experience like?
I remember Wednesday was the day that the Billboard charts came out. So every Wednesday we would get this call from New York. Guys, you're at #9. Next week, guys, you're at #7. Guys, you jumped to #3. We were on tour. We were in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, in some Holiday Inn somewhere. Randy got a phone call in his room from New York, phoned the other three of us, and said, guys, got to get you in the same room. I've got some news for you. So we all got in this room in Milwaukee in a Holiday Inn, and Randy said, we just went #1 in Billboard. The four of us got on the bed, arms around each other's shoulders like this, and we jumped up and down like 3-year-olds at a birthday party until the bed broke. If I had 2 or 3 minutes of my life to relive, I would probably choose those 2 or 3 minutes.
American woman, listen what I say.
Bringing back to the Jukebox CD, what's special about that time in music for you and that era and these people that you decided to cover?
Well, the songs we chose for Jukebox had a big influence on us and Led Zeppelin and the Beatles, on and on and on and on. This album is pretty much a foundation. We go way back to the early Fats Domino, Ain't That Just Like a Woman, and is that before Blueberry Hill?
No, but shortly after.
Right after that.
Shortly after, and also the obscure Elvis tune from Elvis's Gold Records, Volume 4, Ain't That Lovin' You, Baby.
And Hey Bo Diddley and Little Queenie and
I always loved Sam Cooke. It's still one of my favorite 3 all-time singers ever, so I wanted to do a Sam Cooke. We both loved Cliff Richard and the Shadows as kids, so I said, please, Randy, do an instrumental. Please do a Shadows instrumental, so he chose Man of Mystery. It's so cool to have an instrumental on this album. It's not a very usual thing anymore,
And most of the songs on this album aren't in rotation on any classic rock station. I had picked a couple, and Burton said, no, they're getting played too much. There's too much play on these. We want stuff that still meant something to us that isn't really in rotation. And we're getting great response to this from radio because they don't even have copies of some of these anymore. They're not in their library, so to speak. They're from our own personal archives and things like that. So that's the cool thing about the album.
You've been honored for your songwriting abilities and skills time and time again over the years. I think one of my favorites, at least, was when Mr. Bachman appeared on The Simpsons.
Oh, yeah.
How was that experience for you?
Quite surreal. To go there and do the voice thing was really quite unbelievable. To just see people like us, dressed like us, and out of one comes the voice of Lisa, and another comes the voice of Homer. Do you know what I mean? It's pretty. They're there in their house coats. Do you know what I mean? And towels. They've been out jogging. They run in and do a voiceover. So you're kind of in awe at these people, and it was just a thrill to be there. And ever since I did that, I get a Christmas present from The Simpsons.
Not to be outdone, Mr. Cummings has also got an entire hockey team dedicated to him in Winnipeg. Tell us about the Wheatfield Soldiers, SOUL, with his picture on the jersey.
On the jerseys, and actually they won last year. I think they went all the way last year because I got these great cards with the pictures, and all these guys are wearing my face on their. That's remarkable.
It's a pleasure to have met you, pleasure to have done this interview. We are proud of you here in Canada, and we're going to be proud once again when they bring back the 50s and early 60s, the sock hop,
Yes,
the malt
sir.
shop,
The sock
Yes,
hop,
sir.
The malt shop.
the Letterman sweater. Go
Yes.
pick up a copy of Bachman Cummings, Cummings Bachman,
Start dancing.
Jukebox.
Jukebox, absolutely. Rock and roll is here to stay.